Hello, class. My name is Valerie Wendell, and I did my research paper on the extinction of mammoths, and I'm excited to share with you all that I learned. So let's get started. So we're going to start with just a little bit of the background on the mammoth. So I'm studying mainly the woolly mammoth, and its scientific name is Mammothus primigenius. And so when I say mammoth throughout this presentation, I am referring to the woolly mammoth, just so you know. So what does a mammoth look like? And I know that some of you have maybe a little image in your mind. I have a little video to help illustrate what a mammoth looks like.
Hey!
Just pretend that I'm not here.
Man, I want to hit him at full speed.
That's okay.
Yeah.
We'll have some fun with it. Don't let them impale me, please. I want to live.
Get off me.
Come on, you're making a scene.
We'll just take our furry pinata and go, if you don't mind.
Hey, buddy, it's not them today, just someone else tomorrow.
Well, I'd rather not be today, okay?
Look, we're gonna break your neck so you don't feel a thing. How's that?
Wait a minute. I thought rhinos were vegetarians.
An excellent point.
Shut up.
Who says we're gonna eat them after we kill them? Yeah, come on, move it.
You know, I don't like animals that kill for pleasure.
Say.
So there's a kind of a picture viewing up at them there, you know, kind of shows how big of creatures they really are. So, and just a fun little video for you. But as you kind of saw, they closely resemble an elephant. They look a lot like elephants, but there are a few differences. Some being that they have smaller skulls, they have smaller ears and shorter tails, and the obvious one, they are covered in fur. Are they related to modern-day elephants? As a matter of fact, they are. And oddly enough, so are these little guys. Anyways, so there was this research project that was done by Evgeny Rogaev and Yuri Molyaka, where they found this frozen leg of a mammoth, and they're able to pull out the mitochondrial DNA from the muscle in that leg. And they found one of the longest pieces of DNA anyone has found in a mammoth, and it was 16,842 base pairs long. And because they had, you know, such a long piece of DNA, they were able to really read into it and trace back that mammoths are in fact related to more so the Asian elephant. In fact, they are related 4 million years back is when I guess the split off was. So where are the mammoths typically found? Well, they're found in various parts of the world, but mainly they're found in Siberia, Northern Asia, Russia, and parts of North America. That if you're really wanting to find a mammoth, Siberia would be the place to go. For all the research that I did, most of their findings of like this leg was in Siberia. So, but my research was more on the extinction of mammoths and what are possible ideas and what led to their extinction. And in the research, I was able to narrow it down to 3 different ideas. So the first idea, or for the cause of the extinction, were humans. So were humans even alive back then? It turns out they were. So humans started appearing at the end of the Pleistocene epoch. And so mammoths were still around at that time. And so that's, you know, it was, they ran into each other. Could humans be the reason for their extinction? Well, it's possible. Humans were new to mammoths, and the mammoths weren't used to being hunted by humans, how humans hunted them. I mean, humans had new weapons. We have archaeological evidence that humans were well equipped with weapons that could kill mammoths. However, statistics were run that if humans were to have driven mammoths to extinction, they would have had to, let's see, one mammoth would have had to have been killed every 3 years by each human in its habitat for the humans to have driven the mammoths to extinction. And by doing that, it would have taken them 6,000 years to drive the mammoths to extinction. So if that was the case, it would have taken a little bit longer, but then again, it was still possible. Another idea that came about for the cause of extinction was climate change. So what kind of climates did mammoths prefer? Well, I mean, because they have this full coat of fur, they would probably prefer colder climates. And they did. They really, that's where they thrived. And they ate more like grass-like vegetation and plants. So could climate change be the reason for the extinction? Well, it's possible. As the weather grew warmer, the ice melted, and that was their way of getting around the place. There's this place, or this thing that called the permafrost, and that's what they would use to travel from continent to continent, because all the water would be frozen, so they could travel across that. But as the climate changed and it got warmer, the permafrost melted, and it would trap them on islands or on continents, and there's no way of getting off from that, because there's no more freezing. And so they became trapped. And when they become trapped on an island or a continent, it's difficult to have gene variation. And so the genetic diversity became low, and that would lead to accumulation of harmful mutations. And so that's not good. And then along with the warmer weather, not only would it melt the ice, that was their way of transportation, but it would also cause an increase in forest growth. And the forest would spread and it'd kill off their main source of food, because grass and forests don't get along and they can't grow in the same places. So there's that. And then the third idea for the cause for extinction was meteors, or one meteor in particular. So just to make sure we're all on the same page, what is a meteor? So a meteor is a giant rock or some sort of thing from space, and it passes through Earth's atmosphere and it collides into Earth. Some can be small and some can be really big and have a huge effect on Earth and all of its inhabitants. So could meteors be the cause for extinction? Well, it's possible. So in research, they have found frozen mammoths, but they also found their fossils, and a lot of them have been found under a black layer, along with other mammals that went extinct at about the same time, like giant sloths and mastodons. So they found this black layer. Oh, sorry. And one of, in the studies of this black layer, they found that most of it was made up of charred wood and algal. And so there was some evidence that there was a lot of heat, very hot heat, like a fire kind of heat that caused this black layer. So not only that, but there's also the ice cores. And if you remember learning about ice cores, they are very detailed in their history of the Earth. They have a lot of details for the types of seasons that go through. And so we've been reading ice cores that have dated back 12,000 years ago, which is about the same time as this meteor, the specific meteor hit that we're looking at. And these ice cores show that there were high levels of ammonium and nitrate, and those are related to cosmic output. And so there wasn't really any other reason why high levels of ammonium and nitrate levels would be in the ice core, except that there was something from outer space that came into the Earth. And then also, as they're studying the land, they also found a lot of extraterrestrial material that was found on the Earth, such as sephrals that are found at the place of impact. And that's kind of what they look like. What sephrals are they're pieces of rock that you can tell have been heated up really, really hot and then cooled off really quickly. And that usually happens when impact has occurred from some extraterrestrial object like a meteor. And so that is another idea for the cause of extinctions. Now, we have all these ideas. Which one is it? And, you know, going through all these possibilities, they all seem probable, and they have likely reasoning that they are the reason that mammoths were extinct. However, it seems unlikely that just one of them could be the answer. So could it be a combination of them? I think that is more possible than just one of them. With the combination of hunters and the climate change to be increasing to uncomfortable temperatures and taking away their food, and then a meteor hitting and taking them out, that would be more likely. Or, you know, even just hunters and climate change, because the meteor, it seemed like it only affected North America, the mammoths and the mammals in North America. And so in other areas, it could be the climate change and the humans was just overwhelming, and it drove them to extinction that way. And so I'm leaning more towards the combination of two or even all three of them to lead to the extinction. I don't think it is likely that just one thing led to the extinction. Yep. So, in conclusion, we know that mammoths did not live long ago. I mean, they were around when humans were around, and we're still unsure of exactly how they became extinct. But we do have a few ideas, them being humans and overkilling, climate change, or the possibility of meteors hitting the Earth. In doing research, it seems that it couldn't be just one of those. It'd have to be a combination of two or even all three of them. But research must continue on for us to find the actual real answer. And it will be difficult because we don't have mammoths on the Earth today. We can't know for sure what they were like, how aggressive they were towards hunters, or how adaptable they were to other climates. And so it's tricky to know for sure what the exact reason is for their extinction. But through the study of their fossils and of the land, and what the land tells us, such as the ice cores and the sediment layers, we're able to get kind of a good idea of what they were going through at those time points, and it kind of gives a little bit of a light onto the subject of extinction, and we can make our guesses that way. And those are my references, just a few. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and learned a little bit more about the extinction of mammoths.